I took everything that was horrible about my life and turned it. And so how can I turn everything around and not give back to the child that survived because I wanted to kill myself.
You wanna be a boss today.
Welcome back to the BILFPod, where authenticity trumps authority. And for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, my name is Mara Dorn, and we are at the BILF. And if you don't know what that is, Derek, you want to tell them what it is?
It's the boss you want to follow.
I love it. Yes, the boss. That is the boss. But it's not me. It's not about me today. It's about you being a boss. And I am going to do the intro. So I'm going to take over because I know you love to take over, but I get to take over for 1 second. But I am here with my fierce, vivacious friend, Mr. Derek Warburton. And you're just so much more than a friend to me. But first, I'm going to tell a little bit about your background. Derek comes from a small town in New Hampshire. He's a small town guy, just, hanging out. And Derek, I mean, I've had such intimate conversations with him, and your story just in itself is incredible. Here you are, you come from this small town, you go to FIT, into this huge big city in New York City, and you find yourself in a completely different realm of people kind of just figuring things out, because I know growing up wasn't easy, and we're going to talk about that today and what that means for you today. But overall, just ended up turning his career into an amazing success. He's a known entrepreneur. He is, world renowned. He's a celebrity stylist. I know you styled for Jessica Alba. You've done some of the housewives. I mean, your career is endless because you're a true BILF. You really are, so much better than me. Publisher of Gurus Magazine, Mr. Warburton Magazine, and the Los Angeles Inquizitor. So it just doesn't stop there. You are constantly going. Every time I talk to him, he's constantly on the run doing something, whether it's with Habitat for Humanity or for bullying or for Pride. I mean, you're just endless in giving back. So without further ado, I am beyond honored to introduce my good friend. You have become such a special part in my heart. I love you. I think you know that I love you.
Yes.
Mr. Derek Warburton.
Oh, thank you.
So excited.
I'm so happy to be here. First of all, I'm so proud of you because so many people are afraid to just start.
Yeah.
Or to reinvent or to just do something.
Yeah.
And we are BILFs. And so being a BILF is really about just doing something, and it's funny, the last week or whatever, we're just coming through the LA fires and people have been frozen in place. And I was like, you do something.
Yeah.
Like they're doing this, they're doing that. No, you do something because it all starts with one person to build a community.
And you've done that.
And yes, 100%.
Can you talk about that? Like a little bit, can you just talk first a little bit about your backstory? Because I think it's so important for people to know that, number one, it's okay to be you. Because what's your famous,
100%.
what is don't be the best?
Oh, don't be the best, be the only.
Where does that come from? I want to know that. But start with your backstory because it's so interesting. And I love how you took a negative and you're just a ray of sunshine, a breath of fresh air. You really are the most positive light. I love your energy and you're impeccable to your word.
That's all we have.
I gave you a lot.
Thank you. I know. I was like, whoa, okay.
I know. I gave you a lot.
It's so interesting that I have to say for myself, one, I really lived in a space of just being, not believing my own light.
Yeah.
And I always used to say that I live in the light. I look for the light. And I never realized I was the light.
You are.
That took a long time. And, I think people heal differently. I think people need to sit down. Some people, you're always running. We're all always running. And that's why, I always say that COVID was the best thing that happened to me because it was the first time in my life where I felt like I didn't have a choice. And when I did sit, instead of wallowing, I got to work.
Yeah.
And that's when the real work began. But that's why it was so beautiful because it was like for the first time, I couldn't do something else to distract from finding
Who you are.
my own love for myself.
Yeah.
And wow, whoa, you don't need to be on a lot of drugs. You don't need 10 hours of therapy.
Yeah.
You need to talk to yourself. And I know it sounds crazy.
No, I don't
But-
think it is crazy.
But when I tell you what I got out of that was the best thing that could have ever happened. You know, I forgave.
That's important, right? Forgiveness is important.
Not
for you.
Oh, 100%. You know, I forgave selfishly
Yeah.
because I forgave family stuff. I forgave things that people did to me. And that's okay.
I mean, not for them, but you forgive for you.
But you start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, so it's okay to forgive selfishly. You know, when I was homeless as a teenager, living with my biological mother.
Wow.
And she had a very abusive partner mentally to me.
Yeah.
And controlling to her. And always the excuse was, my childhood was worse.
Wow.
And it was like, but that's not, your job is to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Which we talked
We've
about
had an
today.
in-depth
You know,
one.
I mean, I post a lot of inspirational things because I feel like that's my place in life, is to try to help other people feel good about themselves as well. And, you know, a lot of times we all get caught in that crossfire of other people's trauma.
Yes.
And so I don't blame those people for putting that on you, but you have to know where it's coming from. And so I just say, got it, move on.
It's fair.
You know, and so, but you can't allow that to be carried over, because now you become the abuser.
Yes.
Because of that trauma.
Yeah.
It's our job to say, fine, now, no. You know, now I'm
Yeah.
going to take this and grow from it and take what I need. You know, it's funny because everyone asks like all these very sweet things of me. You know, they'll be like, how did you become this giving person? How did you do this and how did you do that? And I said, well, I took everything that was horrible about my life and turned it.
I love
and so
that.
how can I turn everything around and not give back to the child that survived?
I love
because
that.
I wanted to kill myself.
I love
this is
that.
This is a true
Not
story.
that part. I don't love that part, but I love what you're saying. It's
But
so
I
true.
wanted to kill myself, and I wouldn't have survived. You know, you were at the Gurus Awards. You won a Gurus Award, and my stepmom was there.
She was so proud of you.
Thank you. My dad, who is in a nursing home now, unfortunately, never got to really feel the love from me because I had always kind of blamed him for a lot of things. And I just felt defeated because I had a mother who allowed and then a father who just never really understood.
Right.
You know, but I put them in the same category and selfishly forgave because that's what all I could handle at the time.
Makes
you know?
sense, yeah.
And so with her, in the end, I left at 15 because my father and my stepmom, I call her mom, took me in and saved my life.
Wow.
But with her, I did forgive her selfishly, and I'm not mad at it.
No, but
I acknowledge
healing.
the fact that she didn't know any better. I acknowledge everything that I got out of that situation because I was in a forest fire very similar to what we just went through here in LA. But I was in it running for my life with fire on both sides of me with a little dog that I now have a little dog. And last 2 weeks ago, I'm watching where there was a fire in our neighborhood and I could see over the roof the fire and I freaked.
Wow.
You know? And so I am constantly thinking about those days. And a program came that was from the fire department, because I also got accused for that fire that her partner had set.
Wow.
So here I am,
So crazy.
terrified, 14, 13, being accused of something that I didn't do, already being put to all these other things. And so, you know, but if I hadn't gone through all of that, I wouldn't have started my program for the homeless. I wouldn't do all the work I do. I wouldn't give back to that childhood because I wouldn't be alive if that child didn't stay alive for me.
Yeah. I love
And
how
to
you
do
embrace
all
that.
of this and have this amazingly blessed, fun, like experiences like this, like I get to have all these incredible, cool, fun experiences, travel the world and have all this fun, fabulous stuff because I went through that.
I love that. And I love how you unapologetically own your past. Because But so many people don't do that. It's woe is me. Oh, so sad this happened. But you didn't do that. You totally took it, flipped it, and said, okay, this happened. And I think that it's important for people to know, too, that you only have one set of parents in this lifetime. You know, you can pick your nose, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your parents, right?
Right, 100%.
And parents, I know as a parent, children don't come with a set of directions. So parents do things, whether it's cultural or that's all they know. And children grow up, you know, angry with parents and whatever the case may be. But I love how you unselfishly forgave your parents and you use that experience to propel you forward into doing things for the community and to use your story to help other people. And that's why you're so relatable.
You know, I just always feel like if we can't use what we have, like these are the tools I have in my toolbox.
Yeah.
Because I never thought I was the most talented. I never thought I was the smartest. I never thought I was any of those things. But what I knew was that I was tactile. I knew that I would never break, but I could pivot. I knew that I could bend. You know, I knew that I could just go with what I needed to do. And any real entrepreneur, any leader will tell you that that's all you need to be.
How many times did you fail?
Oh, still failing.
Right?
And I have no problem failing.
You feel like you made it?
I'm fine. You know, that took a long time. Because I never feel like I've made it. Ever. Because I never have enough. But at the same time, there's always enough to give. Because I'll never run out of things to give. You know, somebody wrote to me last night, and they were like, you have this heart. And I said, sometimes I have time, sometimes I have money, but I always have my heart.
I love that.
And because
and that
I
never
do.
Stops. It never stops.
Kindness is free.
Yes.
And people forget that because kindness opens a million doors. Do you know how much I've gotten in business, in life, in love, in soul from my heart? Just because I am not afraid. And, you know, and like the speech I gave at the Guru's Awards where I said, I sit in these rooms, like people, I get trust. You know I'm not screwing you over. You know,
and I know
that if
you're
I
authentic.
say something,
You're
you
delivering.
know it.
You're delivering.
I am delivering every time. And if I get questioned, you know I'm going to be like, don't even question me. Because if I say I'm delivering, we deliver. Always. I've always been like that. But that's how you become a leader, strength. And people need that. Because this world is filled with people that talk you to death, nothing happens, or they just lie.
Yeah.
And I don't work like that.
No.
And when you have that kind of trust, that's how you can build a major organization. That's how you can build a community where people can depend on you. And we are in a time at this moment where if you don't have community, you're in trouble.
It's true.
Because we are in a very dangerous time. And no matter what side of the fence you're on, and, you know, I had a lot of friends at that inauguration, a lot. So I'm very in the middle.
Yeah.
I hear both sides because I have to.
Right.
Number one, I own media, so I have to be able to tell both sides.
Right.
I have to be able to honor both sides. And also, I have to be able to hear things, and I might not agree with everything, but if I don't know both opinions, I can't make an educated opinion.
Yeah. You don't have to agree, but you can be agreeable.
100%.
People don't know that. I don't know how many people have lost friends and family over this election. How stupid.
Business, all of it.
So stupid.
It's ridiculous. And, you know, just because we all hold different things dear to us.
Which is fine.
100%. You know, I also think that people are not educated in the same way. Their needs are different.
Yes.
All different things. And so we all have to live together. That's what makes community. And I'm telling you, community moving forward. There was a very interesting article that I read 2 years ago and by this very renowned journalist. And he was talking about how 3 billionaires flew him out thinking that he's giving a speech at this major, you know, forum.
Right.
They flew him to the desert. He gets in a car and they go an hour. And he was in just an airplane hangar in the middle of the desert, and the three of them were sitting in this hangar alone. He's driven in this car like an hour to this airplane hangar, and the three billionaires are sitting there, like gods of industry. And they say, we're scared of what's coming because we know what's coming because they're part of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, we are developing space programs, and we have hangars, and we have security. And the writer is like, well, what's going to happen when the mob comes? And they're worried about the mob, right? The mob coming. And so we have enough food. We have this. Now what? Like, what are we going to do? And he's like, well, who is going to save you from the security, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this is the point, though. You can't survive without community. Yeah. And it's like, why aren't you building farms? Because that's what's happening. The smart people know that, and a lot of the bigger ones that we don't know about, because we all think we know the richest people in the world and we don't.
Yes, I'm sure.
We know who allows themselves to be advertised.
Correct. Of course.
Because they need the PR. The real ones don't need it. Yeah. And they don't want you to know.
Yeah, it's so true.
So they know that they've all started, and this is true, they've all started community farming. And they own miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of land. Wow. And they're moving people there. There's also sustainable cities being built as we speak in places like New Mexico, Arizona. And they're putting boards of directors together. And a friend of mine who has McEwen-Albright syndrome was asked to come in for diversity and for the people living with different types of like physical handicaps. Wow. And so because everyone has to survive in this space, and so cities are being built that can withstand any sort of attack or whatever's going to happen. There's a lot of things that are happening that no one knows about, right. And then of course there's space happening.
Yeah, and that makes sense why you're so big on building your community. But what I love about your community is that it's so eclectic. Mm-hmm. It's not just one, people sometimes stick to one, specific type of group or, specific gender or specific religion or whatever the case or whatever they're into. But your group, your community is so eclectic. And what I've seen of it personally is that everybody's completely supportive.
But that's how it needs to be. Like when we do Pride, and we have a really special Pride program, and it's called 30 Voices, 30 Days. We do 30 covers, a cover every single day for the month of Pride. Yes. It's all digital. Mostly celebrity, maybe influencer. But what's really special about it is that it's really quality. We ask heterosexual men to join us. We had 3 men this year. One of them being David Arquette, and we did 2 of his sisters, along with honoring Alexis Arquette, who died of AIDS 8 years ago, and who was trans way before anyone ever knew Laverne Cox, who was also a cover, who I've known, 20 years, who's amazing, and Alexis was a real trailblazer, working. 1987, she was diagnosed when she was still living as a boy with AIDS and was doing mainstream movies everyone knew, and then transitioned and was in, The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler, which you would never guess. And, she kept going, and that was really incredible. And, I want to honor lives like that. I think my dream was to be a storyteller. And that's what I love about this job, and what's so great. And that's why I love coming and doing things like this, because you're a storyteller. That's why we're here. That's what you wanted to do, and that's what's beautiful about having these kind of platforms, because you get to really hear other people's stories and therefore being a storyteller yourself. And these platforms and being able to tell stories makes young people aware, have something to look up to. Because so many people like me, especially, we didn't have that. we didn't get to see us.
No, there was none of that.
A lot of places.
There was none of that.
And a lot of these kids, now are lucky enough to be able to see that, which makes their life so much better and so much easier. And that's all we want, period, for the next generation. Not just for entrepreneurs, just for their lives, or for just to make all life better. And that's so important.
Yeah, I want to switch gears for a second because I know one cause that's really important to you is bullying.
100%.
And I don't think that people realize the residual effect of bullying. And I think, listen, growing up, I do think you got experience, but I'm not talking about bullying to like the degree. You got to get a little tough, but I know that you experienced it.
Yeah.
And the humility and just everything that happened, that came from it. I want to talk a little bit about your cause and like how, like where the bullying started and how you've used that now for your cause to make awareness about bullying and that it's absolutely not okay.
Yeah, it's funny because I will say the older I get, the more I notice that when you're living in it,
it seems worse than what it is. We did talk about that. You were like, I don't think it was that bad. We did talk about it.
Like I will say as I get older, because I went back to my talk about healing.
Oh yeah, you told me.
I went back. So all through high school, I felt very bullied because I was already being bullied at home. So I felt like nothing was safe.
Right.
And I was homeless. So let's just add it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just icing on the cake over here. Yeah.
So nothing felt safe. And then as time went on, I put myself in situations like, for instance, I was the first male cheerleader in our region in high school.
And at that time, there was not many.
Oh, no, forget it. And it was, they didn't know what to do. But I did it because also at the same time, I was always the same type of person as I am, where I would just go and be brave about something. And I was like, I'll show you. Because I always, don't play with me, because I will show you that I can stand up and I can really fight. But that's the thing, I always demanded respect. Even bullied, I demanded respect because I was just not going to go for that, And luckily I had a fire in me. Not everyone does, and when I did it, I would, go and do it, and then the other team would tease us, and then I would come back, and our team would go and say, he might be that, but he's ours, because that's very New England. We stick up for our own.
Yeah.
And so I was always like that, and there was a girl, it's funny, I was thinking about this recently. There was a girl that I went to high school with who was horribly bullied, and she couldn't get a prom date. And I went to the prom with my best friend, but we took her with us and to dinner. And I bought her corsage and took her to a fancy dinner with us and all of these things just because I just felt so bad. And I knew how she felt, no matter how bad it was. But to me, it was the way she was treated was just horrible. And I know she never forgot it because she's on, I see like she'll be on social and she'll write to me and whatnot. And that was when I really started noticing what kindness can do. Like how simple it is.
Yes.
It's nothing. And it's like, wow, it doesn't take a lot, and people don't think about it. And
No.
9 times out of 10, when people aren't nice or they're not kind, it's because
Of
they have
them.
low self-esteem.
Yes,
Or again, here we
Or they're
are in the
deflecting.
space of, they were something happened to them and they're treated a certain way, and they're
It's an insecurity. I think that's 100% what it is. When
Yeah.
people are bullying you, because who deliberately goes out of their way? I'm just thinking like when I was the mean girl, I was mean because I was jealous.
right.
That's the truth. Like I was mean if I
But I
was
love that
picking
you
on
can
someone-
admit that,
Yeah, looking back, like I definitely was a mean girl, and I was mean because I was jealous.
Right.
100%. That's why it's a complete deflection, and it's an insecurity, whatever it was at that time. And then people take that, they carry it, and then they project it on other people all the
Right.
time.
Right.
And I just love I love how honest you are about it. And I also love that you're like, maybe it wasn't that bad. But now today, you do a lot of things with bullying, don't you, in the community?
Of course, I always have. When they started It Gets Better, which was a video series that was done years ago when Matthew Shepard originally was killed, and then also there was a student who jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge. And a video series started with this gentleman named Dan Savage. He was actually a sex writer. And he started this organization because he was like, enough is enough. And he got some fantastic public figures to come out and just do a video of hope. And so at the time, you know, I had a new team and I said, listen, this is what I want to do. And we invested our own money. And I started a lounge in New York City during Fashion Week. And I called everyone, the CFDA, Hearst, everyone, and so many incredible, like Gabby Union, who you know is a huge advocate. Beautiful. She came, she's amazing, I love her. Judith Light came, who's amazing. Miguel came and did a video. Eve, the rapper, came. It was fantastic. Isaac Mizrahi, all the editors from Harper's Bazaar, 17 Magazine, everyone came. And it was fantastic because it was just, again, you know, Carrie Hilson. People were just little things. Yeah. But that, you know, their fans, that could change any of their fans' lives, you know, and just to stay alive. And you know, it's just like, because it will get better. And you never know who's had that life. Yeah. And you don't know why they're being bullied either. Yeah. And that's the thing. Bullying knows no bounds. Yes. At all. It doesn't matter if you're gay, you're straight, you're black, you're purple, like it doesn't make a difference. You know, it's just other people's perception or other people's problem. Yeah. You know, it's like, I always say, like, I don't care what you think of me because it isn't any of my business. Yeah. Because it isn't. Like, that's your problem, honey. Bye. Yeah. That's so true. I'm out the door, you know, it's like, oh, well, bye.
Yeah, it looks like a you problem, not a me problem.
100%.
It's absolutely true. But I want to take a moment, too, and step back for a second, because one thing I know about you is that you were this fashion, that you're a fashion guru, you've dressed people, but also what's really interesting that we were talking about before is I love that you have reinvented yourself a few times.
Had to,
so what does that look like if you had to like explain to somebody maybe out there that is kind of struggling and they're at this like point in their life, this pivotal moment that they're trying to figure out, should they continue doing what they're doing? They have a passion, they want to do something maybe that they're just not doing right now.
I love that you brought this up because I think about this all the time and I talk about this all the time. You have to get to a place where you see the writing on the wall.
Yes, or that inner voice. You feel
100%. Because I, for some reason, have always had the sixth sense to see the writing on the wall. I saw industries change and I was like, this is going to end soon. Get out.
Ride the wave.
And I guess also, and what is incredible about being in fashion that no one will ever tell you is that because of the way your mind has to work, you're always a forecaster.
Is that why they call it fashion forward?
Yep. Like you're always thinking ahead because we lived ahead. You know, I was constantly like, what are they wearing next year? What are we doing next year? What is this going to be about? And I guess, I mean, still in the magazine realm, I'm still doing that. Like, oh, you're going to wear this next year. Or we're doing this, you know, like the nail polish I have on right now, I've been wearing for 2 years. Like that's what's incredible about having a podcast now or being new media or just having difference in opinion, because it's like people need to hear from real life people that are not trained, that are not, you know,
scripted.
Or scripted, that talk real. But like we have real life experience. Yeah. We've made it according to the world. Yeah. No, but you know what I'm saying? I know. According to the world, we've made it. And so they need to hear how scrappy it really is, how we're up at the crack of dawn, working to midnight. Like I've had so many years of 4 a.m. to midnight. I cannot tell you. I was like, I am done with this shit. Let me tell you. Like, you wonder why we need facial fillers and Botox? Like, get out of here. Okay. You don't even know.
But you have to do it. Like, you have to, if you want to make it, if you really want to make it, you have to sacrifice on the front end. Whether it's getting up or staying late.
And you can still fail.
Yeah.
And you can still fail. I've failed 50 times, still killing myself to get there. But it doesn't matter. Like, you have to be so hungry. It's like, bitch, put down the potato chips and put your hunger into your work, because that is the only way if you want a better life. And 99.999% of us grew up with nothing. And if you grew up with nothing, put down the potato chips and put your hunger into your work and into yourself.
Yes.
You know, because all these people will go and get some shitty job, and the shitty job isn't going to do nothing.
It's true.
Nothing. You got to go out there. You got to hustle. And the best investment you'll ever make in your life is in you.
That's 100%.
Amen.
That is, you said it. That is it. The first belief is in
I was
yourself.
like,
that is so true. Mic drop. But it's so true. And it's funny because I literally just had a training. I was in Vegas at my office yesterday. 2 days ago, I do a training with just the women. And the leaders come to me. They're like, listen, Mara, I'm having trouble with the girls. They're coming up with a million excuses why they can't come to work. And like for me,
bye, fired.
well, I'm in a male dominated industry. So when I have women in the industry, I'm just excited that they're there. So I get in a room with all of them and they're all there. So I'm asking them, I'm like, you know, I'm going into my thing, you know, it's really great. You're in this male dominated space and women, we really do have an advantage, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, well, what's going on here? Like, let's go round table. I want to hear.
Yeah.
We'll go and hear what are the excuses. One girl says, well, my period is one. It's like, your period? That's a real excuse? The next one says, well, I have anxiety. I said, okay, well, I have both my period and anxiety, and sometimes I have that at the same time, okay? The other one was, you know, sometimes I fight with my boyfriend. I'm thinking to myself, so you know what I did? I bought them Midol for the office. I bought anxiety blankets, and then I bought heating pads. I'm like, now what's the excuse? But if you want better.
Yeah, but you know what, though? This is so funny. Remember how I was saying you should do little vacations and things like this.
Yes, a retreat.
And find other people in your industry and get them to come in for your retreat.
Yeah.
Right? And you said to me, oh, well, I don't want to bring other people in, da, 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 da. And I said to you, no, you bring them in, to come work for you. Because why do you want to have a bunch of girls? And I believe in women working.
I agree with it too.
I believe in the right women working.
I agree. Amen to that.
Done.
I agree.
The right women need to work. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Stop the
about
period.
Enough.
Stop the period.
Enough. Because I know just as many men that'll say the same thing and that are lazy as hell. And I was like, be a man, shut your mouth, get to work.
Yes.
Because just because I don't look like your type of man doesn't make me less of a man.
No.
And my ass is here working. So get to work.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it.
And that's why you're so successful. I mean, that is 100% why you
I was like,
are so
sit
successful.
down and shut up. Done. Get to work or you're out.
And you were in an industry that was cutthroat.
Oh, everything's cutthroat. Are you kidding?
But you made it in that industry, which is crazy because you were at the top of your game.
I was the first one in, the last one out. That's why.
That's what it takes.
And every time I've left a situation or something else has happened, they all get pissed. Oh my God, the best revenge of my life happened after the end of the pandemic. And I love this human, but he had it coming.
That's called karma. It has a funny way. It's like a big fat bitch at your front door. There it is.
So a colleague, and we had a business together, came to my home with his partner. We had a glass of wine, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And the partner said, and we had a business together. And the partner is like, what happened to the talent? What happened? Why is this not going as well as it used to go? And blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, because the talent's sitting across the table and I was not treated with the respect I deserved. So I appreciate that because now I have 3 magazines.
Love it.
That's what happened.
Yes,
So,
I love that.
done.
Yes, I love it. I love
Done.
when you're fierce.
No diss because still supportive and vice versa. But do not even think about it because I do not put up with that. No.
Love it. I love it. You have the chutzpah. You know, I told
And
you
I'm
what
okay.
chutzpah
Like,
is.
you can go ahead and disrespect me. My mouth will be closed. But don't ever think that you have the last laugh because you will never.
I love it.
Ever.
I love it.
Because I'm up first in the morning. I'm the last one out.
And you'll outwork
Don't even try
anybody.
it.
Doesn't matter. Man or woman, you're going to do it. Doesn't matter. I love that. I love that
And
you're
I'm here till I'm
unapologetically
dead.
you.
And you're like that too. I'm here till I'm dead. I was like, you know, like we had the first annual Gurus Awards. I was like, you're going to be wheeling me in this joint in a wheelchair at 85.
Yeah.
So, and I don't care. That's it. I was like, it doesn't have to happen today because it will be just as good next year. It'll be just as good tomorrow. It'll be good in 5 years too. This is how it's going to go. And this is it. And I do not ever care if the money's not there. Da, da, da. I don't care. It is quality. This is how I do it. This is how it's going to go. If I can't afford it, I don't care. I find a way. Because why would I ever sacrifice for my community? Because I never want them to sacrifice for me.
Yeah.
I want them to come to the table just like I come for all of them.
I love that.
And they all know that I come, and you know
put
that.
Your name on something either.
100%.
Me either. If I'm not doing it like 100% and nice, I'm not doing it at all. And I definitely am not putting my name on it. And I don't think people understand that. I love that. I mean, me and you are so similar when it comes to like core values and what we believe in business should look like. And it doesn't matter, I mean, that we look different. It just doesn't matter. Our core values for a business person stay strong at the forefront of our belief system. And I fucking love that about you.
Well, we were just talking about, another guest you had on. We were talking about what they wore to an event I had, and I was like, no, you don't show up at my event looking like that.
The way you look, you have one chance to make a first impression. You cannot look like shit. I'm telling you, my mom, from the moment my mom used to make me always dress nice. I never understood why. She's like, because you get one chance, and then the first day of school is the worst. I always had to look nice. I'm like, why? She's like, because then the teacher's going to think you have a shitty mother. I'm like, it
mother.
You're
gonna shit mother.
But it's resonated with me my whole life, because when people see you, as vain as that sounds, and it does sound vain, I don't care, but that is the first thing they see. And if you look like shit, you're gonna perform like shit. And the way you do one thing in life is the way you do everything.
I agree with that. And another thing that I noticed young too, and this was part of the bullying thing. When I was young, everyone always stared at me. So I was like, well, you might as well give them something to stare at.
I love it.
Because if they're going to stare at me,
go big or go
I'm
home.
going to go and be me. Because I fought to be me. And I was like, well, there you go. And now they all stare for the right reason. Because I controlled that narrative now.
I love it.
Not them.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I fucking love you.
And now they're like, oh my God, and oh my, this and that and the other. And I was like, but I control that narrative. So if I want you to talk, here it is. And I do that on purpose. As you grow, and that's the thing too, like about bullying, I know how to play it. I have a friend that will be like, oh, this looks like this. And then he'll see me in the space. And he's like, you really know your audience. I was
have chutzpah, that's why. You know who you're talking to. You know if you're in a crowd full of women. You know if you're in a crowd full of 100%. Gay people. It doesn't matter if they're straight. You just know your audience. And that's like a real talent. That's a sales tactic, but that's knowing your audience.
It's also knowing yourself enough.
Yes.
To be able to be comfortable
in those spaces with different people.
To be able to maneuver. And I think that's a life skill that, I always say,
you can't teach that. That's like something innately inside of you.
That is true. So but what I do wish is that, like, I wish there was like a gap year where people could really learn some real life skills.
They don't teach it in school.
No,
nothing. They don't teach it.
No, and it's so difficult.
Could you be comfortable in any room? If they put you like,
100%.
I can't even think I can't even think of a group of people, but you could put me in any group of people, anybody, doesn't matter who it is, I'll be 100%. I don't love being in a room where I don't know people, but I'll be okay.
Right.
I'll be 100% okay.
I always sit in the corner until I suss it out.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, okay, now I know how to maneuver.
And then you'll know who to talk to.
Yeah, because it's more like a. Let me get my maneuvers down.
Mm-hmm. Let me work the room. Let me eye it down.
Let me figure it out first.
And then I can figure out right away who I can definitely go to and see who I have most in common with.
Right.
100% I can do that in a room. 100%. Yes, I agree. It has been, I love talk. We could do this all, literally, like, forget these mics goodbye, but we could talk all day about just having fun. But ultimately, you truly are a BILF. I mean, I hope that you recognize, like, when I see you, you are fierce. I tell you this all the time. The first time I saw you, you were so intimidating to me. Like, not many people intimidate me. Like, nobody really does, but you do. But now I know why, because I met my match. Like,
Aww.
Big Mouth, I would say, like, Big Mouth Jew. But, like, Big Mouth, I love that.
Every Jew I know, they're like, you're the Jewiest Jew I've ever met.
You're Jewish.
And I'm like, but I'm not Jewish. They're like, you're still the Jewiest Jew I've ever met.
But I love that you are at because it took me a long time to get into this space where I am 100% okay with who I am. I'm okay. You might not be okay with who I am, but I am. And I really don't give a shit if you are.
Yeah.
Because I know innately inside that my intention is good, my heart is pure, and my vision is clear.
But that is the key. And that's the difference, because you have to come to the table clean.
Yes. That's what
The people that are not okay with themselves don't.
They're dirty. They
There's
have
always
something to
like
hide.
a hidden agenda. There's always something else there that they're hiding.
Yes.
And that's why they can't. So if somebody is just straight up, this is how it goes and whatnot, because I just tell everyone up front, I'm like, there's no bullshit here. This is how it's going to go.
Oh, I know
And
that.
so I'm like, boom, 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 boom. And don't question me. This is how it is. And I will tell you straight up. Like, if I can't deliver, I'll say, but let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. This is how I think it could go. And here's why it's better, or here's why it can adjust.
I know you did that to me. Do you remember you did that to me?
100%.
I brought a dress, and then you're like, no, not for this occasion. I was
Right.
like,
But because
no, but I appreciate it.
But I also laugh too that because clothes, doing what I've done for so long, clothes are a manipulation.
Of course.
But people take things like body, all of that stuff as like, it's so funny dealing with models and stuff, or people that want to be a model. I'm like, honey, you're a brand if you're going to stand here and do this for a living. So stop taking it personally.
Yeah.
Like, if you need to do something, you do it because it's your business. It has
Yes.
nothing to do with your brand and your business. And I've coached so many kids for so long, and everyone comes to me for advice because I'm straight up. And I'm like, look, this is why this isn't working.
Yes.
And if you want to know the truth, this is the real truth. And if you've got 50 hangups, that's on you. But here is the truth.
And that's really
Yeah,
what
and
it comes down to.
it's an ugly truth, trust me,
But it
because
doesn't
it is.
matter. You can't take things
But
personally.
this is how it goes, acting the same. Or any business, people have so many hang-ups about everything, and they don't understand
Sensitive.
because
It's
they don't want to
sensitive.
do the work for real success because they're afraid of it.
Yeah.
And they're afraid of success because they never think they're good enough. And you have to decide you're good enough, and then nothing is personal to you anymore.
Yes, of
Because
course.
nothing is personal to me. I'm like, got it. Okay, understood. If somebody went, I'd be like, understood. Okay, I'll work on that. Done.
Why wouldn't you?
Easy.
That's rule number one.
Do you know
Don't
how
take it
easy
personal.
life would be if people would stop whining and just hear it, take it in, and then be like, okay, I can solve all this stuff, and then they'd be on the road to success?
Nobody does that,
This would
though.
save 20 years of drama if they would just get to work. Boom. It's easy.
It's so, honestly, the pointers and everything you've said today, I hope resonates with the people that watch this.
It's just
Because
but
It's real talk. It's literally
Yeah.
real. Rule number one, don't take it personally. Rule number
'Cause
two,
it's not
kindness
personal.
kindness is gonna outweigh anything, and it doesn't cost anything to be kind, right?
Nothing.
Rule number three, it is okay to reinvent yourself. And rule number four, you have to be you no matter what and live your authentic truth. It does not matter what all the naysayers are gonna say, because they're always going to exist.
100%.
I can't thank you. I hope you had a good time.
I had a great
love
time.
you.
I loved it.
I just love you.
I just love you.
You are a true Bill. If anybody was trying to find you, which I'm sure.
Oh my
everyone
God!
tries to find you.
Everything except, oddly, not on TikTok.
You're not. I'm not on TikTok
I
either.
know.
I just can't do I don't want to dance on TikTok. I don't want to dance. I just don't. I have a TikTok. I'm just not.
I just want to go out dancing.
Yes, but I don't want to be a
And
dancer.
I do post that on Instagram, though.
You do?
Oh,
well,
yes.
you know I'm not coordinated. We tried this, so it would be.
That's right. Oh, how can I forget?
It would be a disaster. I am not dancing ever on TikTok because we already did this.
Oh my
photo shoot.
God. If you saw so I do like lots of model stuff, and my poses are it's like dancing, but that's
No,
how I
you're-
think of it.
You're good at that. So
I
where would people
love
find
it. I
you?
have so much fun with
But
it.
you're good at it. Where would people find you? Tell us.
So you can go to gurusmagazine.com. You can go to the Los Angeles Inquisitor.com and see your brand new cover. Actually, looking gorgeous, and I love your cover, by the way. Shot by the incredible Sequoia Manuel.
Put together by the incredible Derek Warburton.
We do our best. You can go to MrWarburtonMagazine.com. All social media platforms, Derek Warburton, and there is DerekWarburton.com.
Wow. There it is in a nutshell.
Keep it simple.
A BILF in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
Boss today.